If it's planned, then someone's planned it. And if someone's planned it, they obviously don't have a great agenda for humanity given what they're planning. So, the idea that this is all random, some people still believe it, is insane. The number of people it takes to impose their will on billions is tiny because of acquiescence.
Exclusive from Johnny Bigger.
It's a script that's been planned a very long time. It's a script that keeps unfolding, and the government and authority statements are simply to justify the script. This is why they are incredibly contradictory, because at this point you need to say that to justify this part of the script. But at this point, you need to contradict that to justify this part of the script. And this is what's going on for some of the people some of the time, and some people all of the time, but you can't basically scam all of the people all of the time. People say, oh, well, I don't know why we're going to do this, and it's daft to me, but it's come up from on high, so we better do it. Well, why must you do it? And I know it's difficult for people. I know it's intimidating, and I know, well, I can't do this if I don't do that. I know, but where does it end if we go on compromising? The system has no power. That's a myth. The system has no power. The power the system appears to have is the power that the public gives to it. We give our power away, well, most people give their power away to the system, which then recycles it back. And at that point, people think the system has power, but it's our power that's being recycled back. Because 8 billion people getting on for cannot be controlled by a relative handful, unless the power of the 8 billion is handed to the handful. And that's what happens. What they were setting up was a society that was so controlled that they could incubate the global society that they wanted to introduce, and they could hone it, and increasingly, because this is what global society is meant to be controlled by, they could move it to a situation where technology was the foundation of all control. So you have a social credit system now in China where you do what the government wants and you get credits. You don't do what the government wants, even down to the fine detail of your choices, then you lose credits, and you lose enough credits or you get banned from flying, get banned from going on a train, etc. If you are setting out to destroy a society, then it's key that you destroy the society psychologically. You destroy the self-respect of the society. You destroy respect for a society. They are destroying the respect and self-respect for American society, which dilutes resistance to its dismantling. They're playing the same game again, but to a greater extreme. You control billions of people by controlling their perception, which controls their behavior. If you don't have self-respect, you don't have personal self-respect, then you're not going to resist tyranny. If you look at every tyranny that's been brought down in human history, it's been brought down by people with self-respect, who said, I'm not having it, we're not having it, we're not taking this. That's self-respect. But if you can delete self-respect, all that's left is submission. And one of the things that's going on in terms of this is, if you look at it from a certain angle, people have not researched this, they'll say, look, these bloody governments, they're bloody stupid. These bloody rules, they make no sense. Look at all the contradictions. And they want us to do this, they want us to do that. That's all about destroying self-respect. That's what it's about. Because they know if they can destroy self-respect, then all they've got is submission left. So the point is that at the level of these psychologists, and that which is deciding all this, driving all this, they want you to see that the rules are nonsense. They want you to see that they are contradictory and make no sense. Because if they can get you to see it and you still do it, then your self-respect's been deleted. Because people with self-respect do not do just because some prat in a dark suit tells them. What they can see is a nonsense. I think it's important that people face the scale of what we're looking at.
They had as their mission to create a new international economic order. They called it Agenda 21, designed to capture the resources of the world for a small global elite group. This was phase one. We're probably in phase 4 right now. They're telling us what they're going to do, but nobody thinks beyond the end of their nose this means. People that could have had something to do to push back on this, but they didn't do it. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican in America, always had their man or women in the system mixing it up. And this is happening, and nobody's being alarmed about this. These scientists and engineers got together and they thought, you know, we got a problem here. Capitalism looks like it's dead. And they figured that this was an engineering problem. So they set about creating an alternative economic system that wasn't a price-based economic system, not based on free market economics. It was based on resource allocation, resource administration, and it was to be controlled by energy. In other words, whereas in a price-based economic system, money is the fluid, the lifeblood of the economic system. To their system, they proposed that energy would be the lifeblood of the system. It would be the monetary accounting system. But it wasn't price-based. They simply wanted to allocate goods and services according to the amount of energy that went into them, that it consumed. It was called technocracy. And the original leaders, founders, whatever, they set out on their own, created an organization called Technocracy Incorporated. It was a membership organization, and they found popularity all across North America, especially in the West and the United States, but also in Canada. It was huge in Canada. And every province had its own leader of the technocracy movement. And then there was one overlord in Canada that kind of oversaw the entire thing. But that's kind of where this started. It was an economic system to replace capitalism and free enterprise. There had never in the history of the world been another alternative economic system that was created like this. There's nothing. You can go back and search and look and ask historians, but there's never been anything like this that was created from scratch. There was no need for politicians in such a system, that they were expendable. They said, get rid of the politicians. We don't need any of them. We can control the whole kit and caboodle from an economic point of view. And if we do that, then you'll have no need for any politicians. They had as their mission to create a new international economic order. That was their phrase.